What's up, everybody? Tyler Redmond, your host of Hunter Ridge Outdoors. I'm joined today with Michael Pitts from Realtree. He is my fifth guest. This is episode 5 of the Hunter Ridge podcast. Michael, what's up, my brother? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Turkey season's about to come in, so I'm about to be doing fine. We catch a little bit of a lull between, deer season ending and turkey season. So past month, 2 months, I've had a little time to rest, but it's time to get back after it.
That's right, buddy. That's right. I'm excited. I can't wait to get over after a long beard. I killed my first turkey. You can probably see him in the corner of my. That's my first turkey. It was a Jake, but I'm ready to go after Longbeard this year, buddy.
Huge, yeah, man. It's an addiction like no other.
44 yards with a 410.
Those 410s, I'm telling you, with TSS on the market now, it's changed the turkey hunting world forever. Because
that was it.
Yep, used to 10, you'd have to get them within about 20 yards, and now you can kill them at 50 yards easily with a 410 and TSS.
Oh, yeah, that was amazing. People were shocked at how far that was when I shot that turkey.
Yeah, you can reach out there and touch them. Long distance phone call.
That's right. Well, I've been asking this to every guest, and we'll go and ask you. And I mean, this is what we like to ask a lot of people, but we all like to know of each other, and we get to communicate. But who got you into hunting? How old were you when you first started going hunting, or who got into you?
Basically, I was kind of self-taught in a way. My dad and all was raised on the farm growing up, and they had 1,000 acres and they farmed for a living. They hunted. There weren't many deer back then like there is now, so they did a bunch of wing shooting as far as dove and quail, that sort of thing. That was abundant back then, and that was kind of what they did. And when they built West Point Lake here, they flooded their whole farm. The government kind of came in and bought up all the land that was going to be flooded to create, that dam and the lake and everything else. So they kind of lost their farm, and he kind of got out of hunting and all. They didn't have their farm anymore. So when I came about, of course, he didn't know this ahead of time, but I was big into the outdoors. I had a lot of friends at school that hunted and all. So when I got to be about 10 or 12, I started showing a little bit of interest. And my dad's aunt and uncle, they still had a farm. And so we kind of started hunting out there, but he knew nothing about deer hunting. I, of course, at 10 or 12 years old, didn't know anything about deer hunting. So, I was just reading magazines. Buckmaster was something I really read religiously back then. It was before computers and cell phones and all that. So all we had to do was read a magazine.
Right.
So I got a lot of information and just kind of self-taught from there, went hunting with a lot of friends. And it just really struck an interest for me, being outdoors, doing everything, hunting turkeys, deer, dove. I mean, if it's huntable, I'm going to be there.
That's right.
So, but yeah, I came up the hard way with just learning by trial and error, because I was so young, I didn't know anything about it. And my dad really didn't know anything about big game hunting, because it wasn't, like it is today, to where you've got all these deer and turkeys around. Back then, it was very few and far between. In fact, he told me if you saw a deer track on the ground, it was kind of the talk of town a little bit. So, me and him just kind of started hunting and self-taught, hunting with friends, and that's how I got into it. And believe it or not, I didn't kill my first deer till I was 16 years old. And once I was able to drive and get out and hunt more, I started being able to put a little more time into it and learning more, hunting more, and just evolving from that point on. So, that's kind of how I got into it. It was just I caught the bug from friends at school and just really, really jumped in and dove in with both feet.
There you go. Hey, that's good. And you know what? Joe Drake, you probably know who I'm talking about. Joe Drake is a world champion.
I know Joe.
Yeah. He was my first guest on the podcast. And he made a point straight on. He said, like, when you go and hunt by yourself, the more you go, the more you'll learn. And that's the best experience for anybody to go out there by yourself and learn all you can, you know?
Oh, absolutely. And I truly believe you learn more from your own mistakes. Because if you make it yourself, it really hits home and you try not to make that mistake again. Somebody else can tell you something, but you might totally not comprehend it all that well until it happens to you. So I've made a lot of mistakes along the way and learned a lot of lessons just by trial and error. And so, it's just basically having the ability to learn, admit you were wrong, and learn from it and move forward and try not to make that mistake again.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Yeah, and I I can tell you, I'm one of the biggest Realtree fans that y'all got. Actually, you wouldn't believe I got probably almost every DVD, VHS of Monster Bucks,
Yeah.
and all kinds of Realtree bone collector videos, and just going back watching those old hunts and seeing how it started from there, and then coming to where we are now. I know the best. I'll get onto this a little bit later in the conversation, but I think the best is yet to come for Realtree.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of good people involved with that company. Realtree, Bone Collector, everything's kind of based around that Columbus area. And Michael got his start with Bill Jordan and all that. So everybody's such good friends, and everybody, they're just great people, fun to work with, and as long as you work hard, great things are going to happen. So.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah. With everybody around working together, it's been going real good and real strong. And I agree with you. The best is yet to come for sure.
That's right. Absolutely. Speaking of Realtree, I was going to ask you. I know, like I said, with all the DVDs and stuff, we've watched new people come in. Like at what time, Waddell came in, uh, figuring out when different people like Foxworthy and all those guys came on in, and then you. Tell us, how did you get started in the Realtree?
Basically, we were talking about T-Bone a little bit earlier, and uh, as everybody knows, firemen, most of us have second jobs.
Right.
We work a 24/48 schedule, so it allows us to have a second job and make a little extra money that way. So when I first started with the fire department, I was farming on my days off. I worked for a friend of mine's farm, actually a guy I graduated high school with. His family had a farm, so I worked there a lot as my second job. And then Travis was doing all my bow work at the time. He had his own
Right.
store in Hogansville, Georgia. And he was doing all my bow work, and I kind of piddled with my own stuff. I'd fletch my own arrows and build my own arrows. I really didn't do a whole lot with bow work itself, but I had that interest, and he kind of knew that. And he had a guy quit him, and he asked me if I'd be interested in going to work for him. And I said, well, yeah, I mean, it would be a thought. I said, just figure out what you can pay me and all that kind of stuff. And, we'll go from there. So he told me what he could pay me, and it was $2 more an hour, and I was making at the farm. And plus, I got to sit in air conditioning all day and didn't have to sweat outdoors all day. So it was a win-win for me. And I jumped on board and started working for Travis. And at the time, he was doing all of Realtree's bow work. Uh, Bill was bringing his bows to him. David, Michael, he was doing Chipper Jones stuff and all that. So we had a lot of your hunting industry people coming in and out every day. And from that point on, I just gained and built relationships with all these people. And then when Travis got very active with Bone Collector, he was traveling 250 days out of the year, so he didn't have as much time to work on bows and all anymore. So I started helping him with that, and then it evolved to where Travis was on the road so much, I was pretty much doing all of it because
Hmm.
Travis was on the road a tremendous amount back in the day. And that's actually how I got into it. Once I started working on their bows and getting to know everybody real good, started putting me in front of the camera a little bit and taking me on hunting trips and all that. And it developed what it is today. But, you know, they kind of used me as a punching bag earlier in the day because I don't know if you remember during the Monster Bucks, how they did the little comedy archery shoot segments and all.
Yeah.
I was one of the guys they shot with paintballs that one time. I looked like a cheetah for about 2 weeks after that happened.
I remember that.
Oh, yeah. I was bruised from head to toe. I got waylaid.
Oh,
And
my.
then they dressed me up in a wrestling singlet one time and had me referee the archery shoot, which that was another interesting subcategory. Yeah, I was kind of the punching bag there for a while, and then it just evolved into what it is today. And it's been a great partnership with great people, and
Oh, yeah.
can't ask for anything better.
I remember watching that paintball thing when.
Oh, yeah.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, it got out of hand real quick. They enjoyed shooting me way too much. They sure did.
I remember that. I remember it was when Bill played being sick.
That's right.
T-Bone joined in with David and Michael.
Uh-huh.
And T-Bone's doing all these shots where he's like, don't catch your chicks before they hatch. And he turns around, bling, and makes a bullseye.
That's right. They were ricocheting them off truck hoods and
Michael and David are looking at each other like, what's going on?
Yep. That is true. That is true.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, those were fun times back then when we did a whole lot of that stuff. And that was actually my first times on camera was those times, and just evolved to what it is today. You know, they started putting me on some hunts. They broke me in right because one of the first hunts I ever went on with them was to 7J out in Wyoming. So that was a really fun hunt. They broke me in right. I tagged out the first day, and then around town goofing off and playing golf and getting massages the whole rest of the trip because it was a 6-day hunt and I killed on the first day. So I had a lot of free time. I actually walked around Devil's Tower in Crocs. That was pretty interesting.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's been a good trip, a good journey with a lot of good people. It's something, you know, you grew up watching the videos and idolizing these people and, you know, telling yourself, man, I wish that could be me, but it'll never happen. And it ended up happening to me weirdly enough. And it's just been a blessing, you know, to get to do something you enjoy so much. It's been an unreal journey.
That's what all comes down to. Never give up on your dreams. I'm actually, and you nailed it on the head. Me and T-Bone or Travis, both of us had the same conversation on our podcast. He said, and I told him, I said, you know, I said, like, it would be a dream come true and stuff like that. And you know, as you grow up, well, I started watching Realtree by the time I was like 4 or 5 years old.
Right.
Dad had all the DVDs, VHSs, and stuff. Wasn't hunting at the time, but then I started going to help him track, and I was starting to do that. And then finally, you know, I start going hunting with him. He's still hunting, but I'm going with him. And then finally, I killed my first deer at 10 years old. So, and then I start gradually going up as far as, you know, learning, killing more deer and stuff. And you know, as I grew up and as I got older, I was like, well, you know what? I always dreamed of being a professional hunter. That would be not a professional hunter, but you know, like on with TV with Realtree and stuff. And you know, I'd always thought that'd be very cool. But as I look back now, I got my own YouTube channel. I have no idea. You never know where this could end up. It would be a dream come true to end up with you guys. That really would.
Yeah. It's been a good journey. You mentioned professional hunter, and most of us don't even like that. People label us as professional hunters, and I'm here.
Yeah, that's why I didn't say that no more. And I was like, yeah, because
people label us as professional hunters, and I'm like, I'm not a professional at anything other than having fun. There's a lot of people that know more than me about the hunting industry, and it all just kind of really evolves to being in the right place at the right time to be selected more than it does being a true professional. Like I say,
Yeah,
I'm not a professional at anything other than going out and having a good time and laughing and
that's
cutting.
right.
That's what it's all about to me, is the journey, the friends, the cutting up, the harvesting of the animal is just the cherry on top, because
Right.
I enjoy the traveling too, getting to travel around, see different places, hunt different places, different species, all that kind of stuff. So definitely.
Yeah. That actually that slipped out of my mouth when I said professional hunters. I was like, oh shoot, they don't
Oh
like
no.
being called that.
Now some people love to be called it. It doesn't bother me to be called that. I just don't want to
Right.
be looked at as a professional, because
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how I thought about it, about people on YouTube and stuff. And
Yeah,
then you're right. There are people out there that are way better hunters than we are.
absolutely.
So many of we're just blessed, as T-Bone would say, we're just blessed to be entertainers of the outdoors.
That's correct. That's
Yep.
correct. That's all it boils down to, is entertainers of the outdoors, because everybody can learn something. You never stop learning. The day you stop learning is the day you need to quit and move on and do whatever. And I don't believe anybody should ever stop learning in anything. There's always more information or ideas out there to grasp a hold of, and things are constantly changing. It's just like a lot of people don't understand, especially when you like your deer and turkey, with which is probably your most hunted big game animals, probably nationwide, but they react different in different states. Like, I'm down in the southeast quadrant in Georgia, and our deer are very wiry, they're pressured and all that kind of stuff. But you go to the Midwest, and that deer's totally different. He's a bigger animal. He's more laid back. So when you get into different territories, Texas is totally different. The deer's smaller. They're on DEFCON 5 all the time. You almost got to aim in the wide of their belly and let them duck into it. They're just, and it's neat to get to see that, to get to travel around and hunt the different areas. They're all white-tailed deer, but they hunt differently. And you have to learn that and grasp the concept to the region you're in. And it's just like hunting in Texas is totally different than hunting in Georgia. It's a whole different strategy. It's a whole different deer. And that's what I enjoy most about it. It's learning, the differences. The turkeys, you got 4 subspecies in the, United States. So of course, all of them hunt differently as well. So that's what I like about getting out and traveling, is learning this kind of stuff, because I love to continue to learn and hone my skills, get better. A lot of people laugh at me all the time because I'm the one that always goes and sits down with the old guy and tells stories. And the reason I do that is because I learned so much. Those guys have been around and seen it all, and I love to pick their brain and get little bits of information that make me a better hunter. So I get laughed at from time to time because they laugh. I'll drift off and be talking to all the older generation around camp or whatever, and they're always full of knowledge and everything. So it's all about just sharpening your skills as you go along.
That's right. I like that. Me and T-Bone actually had that same conversation too, about the uh going and hunting different deer in different states. Like, your deer up at Kansas is not going to be the same as deer in Texas. And I'm in
Mhm.
North Carolina, but here's a good thing. Me and you have the same similarity. We're closer to each
Right.
other, and we're in the southeast. Our deer are alike. They're easy to pressure. They're
Yeah.
not huge body deer. Now, every once in a while, you'll see a giant buck
Right.
like you would in Kansas, but that's a rare moment. It's common up there in the Midwest, but here it's a challenge.
Yeah, it's definitely fewer and far between. It's really tough down here, and I get to doing podcasts with people, and a lot of your people up north and all, they've never heard of hunting clubs or anything. and that's a big thing in the area where I'm from. People get leases and there might be 10 people on 200 acres. And having that many people on one little bit of ground can really make the wildlife act differently. But they don't really deal with that up north because, it's just not a thing. Hunting clubs and leases and stuff like that, it's almost like there's so much ground, everybody has plenty of land to hunt and animals to hunt. So there's not the competition there is in the Southeast, I guess you would say.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, like I said, I was at the deer show in Raleigh. Some guys from Realtree were over there spreading out the Camo and everything, the new APX, and I bought this
Right.
over here. Come on.
Oh yeah.
Advantage, baby.
That is it right there. I love the old camouflage too. In fact, I had some of the first sets of camo Bill ever produced. When I first started hunting, it was actually still Spartan Realtree. It was built when Bill was first getting his start and putting the camouflage out there in the late 80s. And I think I still have some coveralls in that around the house somewhere. I'm not sure, but I like the older stuff. The originals kind of making a comeback. They're making a
Yep.
comeback with some of the advantage, and they're just really, really good patterns. In fact, you can get it all. You can get full sets of it off the Realtree shop online right now because I know Nomad's got a bunch of it out there, and then Realtree's brand, they've got a bunch of it out there as well. So, yeah, and that new APX is really something special. Everybody's been asking me, is it your favorite? Is it your favorite? And I said, well, I'm torn because my favorite is really the original, the
Yep.
original pattern. And I'm a big timber fan, but yeah, there it is right there.
And I ordered this off of Amazon, and I put my own YouTube logo on it, baby.
That looks sharp right there.
Yeah, boy.
That looks sharp. It sure does. But
that's it.
I think that APX is probably going to be the most versatile camo pattern ever as far as different terrains.
Oh yeah,
it's going to work everywhere from deer to turkey to elk to wherever, from north, south, east, and west in the nation. It's gonna be the most versatile pattern for sure.
That's awesome.
Really,
yep. That
yeah,
was
Bill,
actually the question I was going to ask you. I'm glad you already answered it, but I was going to ask you, out of all the camo patterns from the very first one to the latest one, and you said the original is your favorite. I love that one too.
Yeah, the original's just, I mean, it was kind of, and a lot of the old stuff's coming back,
Yep.
it's the popular thing now. And I've always been just a original fan. It's been one of my favorites. I really like timber too. Timber's got that good look and is very versatile, but APX is going to be the most versatile thing out there as far as if you want one camouflage pattern that's going to handle it all, APX is definitely the answer to that for sure. It's a really good pattern. Bill is so picky with those camouflage patterns. I've seen him spend a lot of money to just change one little thing on the final product.
Oh my.
He's almost OCD when it comes to that stuff being right. So,
Hey, that pickiness works.
it is. It is. And that's what makes him a perfectionist with everything and making sure. That's why he's got the best camouflage out there on the market, is because of that exact fact. He's just got that eye for it. And if he sees something he doesn't like, he's going to change it. So, there's a lot that goes into it before the public sees it when it's released. There's probably a lot of sleepless nights for Bill as far as all that goes, and just making sure it's right before it gets released. So it's a cool process to get to see the inside of how all that works, because a lot of people don't know how technical it is to get a camouflage pattern done. They fly all over the world to talking with these companies and getting the right stuff and all that kind of stuff. It's not something that's very easily done. There is a whole lot of work that goes into it. So it makes me appreciate it more from my side by knowing all the work that goes on to it. It's not just scribbling on paper and voila, it's on the clothing. It's a long process.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I was gonna tell you, when I went to the Realtree booth, I talked to one of the guys there that he said he does the videos and stuff for Realtree as far as editing and getting the videos ready for Monster Bucks and stuff.
Uh-huh.
I told him about my YouTube channel. I said, I'm all about Realtree. That's all I wear. I will not put any other camo on pretty much.
That's
I
right.
wear Realtree. I've self-filmed my hunts.
Uh-huh.
And I told him, I said, if for some reason, if I can get a nice hold of a nice big buck on camera,
Yeah.
I said, is there a way I could probably send it to you to apply to get on the Monster Bucks video? He said,
Mhm.
yeah. He said, here's my email. And he, bam, there it was. So
Right.
you never know it. Like I said, if I got a video on Monster Bucks, that would be my dream right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I can remember as a kid, well, me and my brother-in-law used to go to Walmart every year, and he'd buy season one and I'd buy season two, and we'd go back and watch them all. It was kind of like a ritual we did every year. So I think every hunter has some relationship with monster bucks at some time period, because it's some of the best hunting there is out there. And gosh, they've gotten to where now where you're seeing, 60, 70 hunts now on the Monster Buck series, which is just crazy.
Oh, absolutely. And like I was saying, I can't wait to tell T-Bone because he told me, he said, with the technology now, you can film with a high dollar camera or a camcorder iPhone. And I've
Mhm.
realized you can still make the Monster Bucks videos. And that would be awesome if I can get a shot on a nice buck here in North Carolina and be able to get that on the show, a nice mature buck.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, they got a lot of people. That's how a lot of people get their start, is filming their own hunts and sending them in to some of these people. And I've seen people yearly end up on Monster Bucks just from sending that video in. And if it's a good hunt, they're going to put it on there. So, that's how a lot of people get their starts, just filming their own hunts, doing self film. Because if you can self film a hunt, you can do about anything. It's a really tough deal. And there's a lot of deer still alive today because I was self filming. It's tough to get everything lined up at the same time. So, you know, it's one of those things, build you a little, kind of a little package or whatever to send to these people, showing what you can do and what you've killed. And that's the key to getting into the outdoor industry, is just showing you got the drive and can do it and film and all that, and make yourself as valuable as you possibly can.
Absolutely. And you know what? Like I said, I never dreamed of myself ever being going to self film my hunts,
Uh-huh.
but I decided to do it one day, and I was like, "Man, I could do this."
Yeah.
And now I got the Realtree Easy Mount to go on the tree, and like I said, I use a little camcorder, so
Right.
it's quite simple. You can just move it around, and you have to zoom in on a certain part or whatever. But if I
Uh-huh.
got to do, if I the bit, oh, this buck, the biggest buck ever I killed last year,
Uh-huh.
that
Oh,
son of
yeah.
a gun right there, he come in at 12 yards.
Whew.
So I didn't have
Get beat.
time. I did not have time to fix the camera where I wanted it to. I had it on the corn because
Uh-huh.
I knew that's where all the deer were going to come.
Right.
But when I saw that son of a gun on the right, I knew he was going to come between me and the corn.
Right.
So I kind of moved my camera a little bit, zoomed in where I knew he was going to come, and
Uh-huh.
I didn't zoom in all the way on him, just enough where you could see him. And
Yeah.
I got the shot, and I turned my camera and I said, "Did I get him?" All of a sudden, you could hear him crashing.
Uh-huh. That's right. Yeah, a lot of times you got to put that camera where you think they're going to be and then make the shot when it all comes together. Sometimes when you're self filming, you got to get out in front of them a little bit and, let them walk into the frame and then take your shot because, like I say, there's a lot going on. Of course, I've had the camera fixated on them standing there, and then I draw back and they move out of frame. Well, when you're
I
shooting
know.
and drawn back, they ain't but one way you can move the camera, and that's to let down and move it. And usually, with all that movement, you get busted.
Yep.
So you're going to make some kind of noise, or he's going to catch your movement, and he's out of there. So once you draw back, it's tough when they walk out of frame. It's like, oh
Oh
my
yeah.
gosh. But
So yeah.
it takes a little while to execute that shot. And if he decides he wants to move while that's going on, it's pretty much over with.
Oh yeah. And like I said, and that's another thing. Watching these videos is really good to, of course, get a vision of what the surroundings is. What's around you? Is it woods? Is it flat ground? Or are the deer calm or alert? And like you said, if they're close to you, I've had to think about, I want the deer zoomed in enough. You don't want the deer, like I said, you want it as good as you can. But the
Mhm.
downside of zooming in as close as possible, because if they do move and get out of
Right.
frame, but that's why I like to have it at a certain vision where I
Yeah.
know people can get a clear view of it. And if I were to draw back and that buck moves a little bit, he's still in the frame. So that's why I have to be very careful and how much to get on the zoom. And if I can keep practicing on that and doing everything good on the video, you never know. You may see me on Monster Bucks one day. That would be awesome.
Absolutely. And you made a good point right there with staying wide on your focus a little bit because you got to leave a little room for error when you're in there, self filming, is to where if the cameraman's with you, he can zoom in tight and hold it there because he's worried nothing about filming that, just only about filming that deer. So, yeah, you got to keep it a little wide when you're self filming to leave yourself a little room for error for sure.
Oh yeah. I tell you what, tonight or tomorrow I will send you my videos or clips of deer I've gotten on video, and you let me know
Uh-huh.
what you think of the footage.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, but that is awesome. And going back to the Realtree camo stuff and how Realtree's making a comeback. And I know Realtree's definitely at the same time they're bringing new stuff in, but I can see now they're throwing it back. And Tyler, I commented to Tyler Jordan on Facebook, and I asked him. I said, "We need to get that Realtree extra brown. That's been forgotten,
Right.
but it was popular back then. Boy,
Uh,
if we can get that back."
yeah.
And all those different camos from years on past,
Right.
those old camos were just as good as the ones new. And I'm not saying the new ones are um not worse. They're definitely more what's the word I'm looking for? Versatile.
Yeah. Yeah. Versatile. Uh huh.
Yeah, like the Edge, APX, and all those.
Right.
But like Realtree Original,
Yep.
Realtree Advantage, and AP Brown all purpose, all of those, and I mean the all purpose, not the AP, but the first
Yeah.
original all purpose.
Right.
I would love to see Realtree bring all that back. And I know for a fact a lot of people just wear old camo still to this day, and it still works.
Oh, yeah. It does. It does. The original was just such a, Bill was an innovator with the first, kind of 3D, I guess, kind of camouflage out there. And it's a whole interesting story about how he got his start and the vision and how he just started sketching it out on paper, as far as just looking at a tree and sketching it on paper. The whole story is just amazing, but it takes that vision of being able to see it. And that vision, like I say, started with original, and you can see how it's progressed to APX today. about how it just has grown and grown and gotten better and better each time. But there's a lot of people loving the older camouflage now, and the hardwoods. That was another really good one. You had a lot of them in there. That Vantage, hardwoods. You had AP. Yeah, it's neat. In Bill's office, he's got all the camouflage patterns up around, so you can kind of go through time and look at all of them, and it's a pretty cool deal. But like I said, they're all great, and everybody's kind of got their favorites. Everybody's kind of wanting. A lot of people like hardwoods.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people are asking for it to be re-released, but it's neat to do that, and it's neat. And you would go into these shows and work in these booths and all. There's a lot of want for that old camouflage right now. It's definitely the in thing.
Oh yeah, and I believe they're all going to come back too. Because I said to Tyler, I said we'd love to have extra brown back, and he said that's in the books, I believe.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're constantly working and coming up with ideas and.
Yep, because they done brought this back, and I love the fact they even got a leafy suit now of that.
Yeah, and that's really good for turkey hunting and all. There's a lot of people that wear those leafy suits during turkey season, and it blends in well, and flows with the wind and matches your surrounding territory. So, there is a big draw and a lot of people that love the leafy wear.
Right, and I know, like I said, and it's the deer's vision, because I remember David, and I could quote what he quoted back then on the Whitetails in the Wild. That's vintage.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They were wearing this.
Yeah.
And he said, good camo pays off. And
yeah.
like back then years ago, this will still work.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I killed this buck.
Uh-huh.
And another buck on my wall, I'll show you in a minute. I killed those deer wearing original.
Right. Yeah.
And I killed a doe last year wearing a Advantage bamboo hooded shirt. So,
yeah.
So
bamboo's nice, especially in hot weather. Oh, it's nice to have that. I've got 3 or 4 of those in different color camos because it's really good during early bow season and turkey season as well.
Oh yeah. And let me ask you this, since I know you're in the Realtree, you may know more about it, but out of curiosity, I know they got the original, and now I'm starting to see people wearing the actual vintage original with the little leaves attached to it. Is that original, or is that a different pattern?
I am not sure. It's the original. Original is definitely the background with the 3D kind of leaves coming out.
Yeah.
And it was still, I want to say, classified as original. It was just kind of a subcategory within that original. I'm not sure if it had a different name or if they just still called it original. But I know what you're talking about, but I'm not too sure. I don't think it had a different name. I think it was still just referred to as original.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool if they brought that back too. Like I said,
yeah.
they're really throwing it back, and it's more. It's not only coming Throwback Thursday. I think it's going back to throw it all back to Realtree annually, baby.
Uh-huh. Yep.
That's right. I can't wait, man. I'm excited to see what they're going to do. That's why I said the best is yet to come. Not only for that, and I talked with the guy at who about the video stuff. He said, I told him, I said, I got those. People have forgotten about the classic hunts VHSs.
Right.
I think they said they may try to bring those back on the Realtree 365.
Yeah, they've got a bunch of old footage. They've still got, stuff from the huge cameras with the big VHS tapes.
Yeah, they put them on shoulder.
Oh, yeah. You had to be Hulk Hogan to carry one around the woods. And they have talked about trying to get some of that footage put on digital content so they can put some of it out there. There's some really, really cool old footage. I mean, Bill's got some back in from the late 80s when him and David first started filming, and there's like 7 deer over 160 in one kudzu patch. And
Yep.
so on some property in Georgia they used to hunt.
That was
And
whitetails in the wild.
yeah, and they got to talking about getting that video transferred to where they can put it on some of the digital sites as far as YouTube and the Realtree 365 app and that sort of thing. So that would be pretty cool to see some of that older footage.
Oh yeah, I think they'll be able to. And actually, we've done seen in fact on YouTube they done got highlights from every monster buck video from the first one. They've got it on YouTube.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's amazing what they can do with all that stuff. But there was a lot bigger deer back then too. I mean, you saw more consistent big whitetails back in that late 80s, early 90s era. There was just a lot of big deer. I don't know if it's just due to genetics or what, but it was the right time and involvement of the whitetail species, and they were just some huge deer walking the woods back then.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I wouldn't doubt it. And I think there's a lot more bigger deer being killed now, actually, more than there's ever been around not only our area but everywhere. I think.
Yeah. Well, technology's come so far with the protein feed and all that kind of stuff, and it really helps them out too. Keeping them on protein. There's all kind of things you can do, to make your deer healthier and that sort of thing. So it definitely helps out with today's technology for sure.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, I was gonna say, now another thing, it'd be cool with the 365 if they could get some new, if they like I said, not only throw back to classic hunts, but make a new classic hunts album with recent hunts.
Right.
Wouldn't
Yeah.
that be cool?
Yeah, that would be cool.
Because like
Absolutely.
you said, and then this is a suggestion that maybe Realtree ought to hear, because you got people like from Seek One, and only them, Bone Collector, all those hunts
Right.
that weren't classified as giant bucks or giant elk or whatever, that didn't make the monster bucks videos or anything like that. That would be cool. Just a memorable hunt. It doesn't matter how big. Hey, like I said, every animal is a trophy in my book, is a blessing from God. But like those hunts of not so big deer, or the ones that didn't make the cut to the videos and stuff, that would be good to put on classic hunts from the recent ones.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. And it's not all about the rack size,
Right.
A lot of
Preach.
people, yeah, a lot of people get hung up on that. And, at the end of the day, it's just about the maturity level of the deer, how old he is.
Yeah.
That means more to me than the size of his rack, because you could kill a mature deer that is only a spike, but you outwitted a mature deer. It really didn't matter what he had
Smart
in
guy.
his head. You tricked him, and it's a chess match a lot of times, and you outsmarted him and got the job done. So really the trophy should be how old he is, because it takes a lot more skill to kill that older mature deer. And but a lot of people get way too fixated on rack size, in my opinion. Everybody,
Oh
first time you kill a deer, the first thing out of somebody's mouth is, well, what'd he score?
yeah. Yeah.
It shouldn't
I was
be the
like,
first
come
thing.
on.
Yeah. That shouldn't be the first thing out of somebody's mouth. It should have been, hey, was it an enjoyable hunt? Did you have a good time? How old was he? But the first question's always, hey, what did he score?
And of
And,
course, if you say it scored so, and like, I let that one walk.
yeah,
That's what they'll say.
yeah, and it kind of can be a bad thing by showing all these big deer that are killed consistently, because
Yeah.
I've had people, the opposite side of the spectrum is, I've had people that were very proud of a kill, and they didn't post it on social media or the internet or wherever because they thought it wasn't worthy enough. And I'm like, that you should not be proud of it and post it all over everything. You know, you don't ever need to be ashamed of what you killed due to what somebody else is killing. Be happy and proud of it. Put it all over social media. So, you know, sometimes I think it hurts by glorifying the big deer so much, because it does kind of make people a little timid on the other side, because people that are just learning, or, you know, whatever, they might be ecstatic over the deer they killed, but they're not wanting to show it off because they feel like it's not good enough. And that should never be the mentality. You know, if you're proud of it and it's something you're proud of, show that sucker off. Because I guarantee you, I'm gonna look at your deer picture on Instagram and I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna enjoy
We'll
it.
celebrate with you.
Exactly. I'm gonna celebrate with you. So, you know, that's what I hate seeing on that side of the thing. I want everybody to be happy and be able to share stuff on social media without being criticized so much. There's no room for criticizing somebody for something that they're very happy about. But it
Right.
goes on a lot in today's world, and it's sad, but it's there.
Yeah, with the way our country is right now, we've had enough criticism. You know what I mean?
I know it. My whole outlook is the hunting industry is a small industry compared to worldwide and a lot of other stuff going on. And we got plenty of people on the outside hating from us. We dang sure don't need to be hating each other. We need to be celebrating each other. As long as it's a legal means of killing that animal, I'm going to support you 110%.
That's
And
right.
I think everybody ought to have that attitude. But you know, it's a sad day that we see so many negative comments and judgmental people on social media nowadays. That stuff needs to end. We need to come together and celebrate each other more.
Right. You ain't wrong at all. And like I said, and since you mentioned about hunting memories, I have several books here that hold many hunting memories. It, like you said, it doesn't matter about the score. It doesn't matter. And here's the sad part: when you lose a close friend or family member, that's when you'll be like, those are precious memories. Even if it was a scrub, a little doe,
Right.
that's just as big, man. You know,
Yep.
because I had a real close friend of mine, Greg, passed away 2020. He was like a second daddy to me. Um, he taught me a lot about hunting, and he was 55 years old. He diabetic, had heart attacks, and it was just all come down where there's nothing they could do. But like I said, I got so many memories in here of just does, bucks, incredible trail camera pictures, all those memories with your friends, loved ones, friends that were family, basically. Yep. Like I said, this is my first ever buck right here.
Hey, that's bigger than my first buck. My first buck was a spike.
Really?
So, yep. My first deer ever was a spike. So, you know, I just, you know, and everybody, when you're young and first starting to hunt, you shouldn't be held to the level of, you know, killing mature deer. You got to let a kid be a kid for a certain amount of time. Because I can tell you, I was relentless when I was younger. The first thing that came in the field got shot at. So
come on.
I had no composure back in those days. And so you got to let a kid be a kid, and you know, you got to let them enjoy and learn the way of hunting. And I wouldn't want to walk out and kill a huge deer the first time I went hunting, because then I'd be ruined and think it was supposed to happen that way every time.
This way.
So,
if your heart gets to doing that, shoot.
That's right. Mine still gets to doing that today. And the day it stops is the day I'll quit hunting. But I still get as tore up today as I did when I was 16, 17 years old. And that's why
I remember that's right. I sorry to interrupt.
oh no.
I remember when you killed I think it was either two pot or
Uh-huh.
it was that one. Or what was that big one you killed a couple years ago? That very gnarly buck. Was that him?
Ooh, I was trying to think that probably wasn't him. He was pretty clean.
He was a huge body deer.
Yeah, he was. Oh no, that was Tank. That
Tank.
yeah, that was a really big deer. I actually had a bigger deer coming in right there, but I couldn't pass that deer up. He was an old deer, had a double throat patch. Uh, and the year before I killed that deer, I got really hung up on one deer specific and pretty much ruined my whole season chasing that one deer. And so
Oh,
the next year came about, and I told myself I was never going to let one deer consume me that much again. So I had about 4 deer picked out on the property I wanted to hunt that year, and Tank was one of them. And I said, the first one that shows up within bow range, I'm taking, regardless of rack
right.
size or anything. And I've tried not to get as attached to a deer as I did with that deer about 6 or 7 years ago, because I was so focused on him that I didn't want to hunt anything else. He consumed me 24
Oh
7
Lord.
all about. And after that year, I looked back, I did not even kill a buck in Georgia that year. And I sit there and look back and I said, I can't do that anymore. I've got to, just pick out 4 or 5 or whatever the number may be and say the first one that shows up, uh, we're going to try to take. But yeah, Tank was, he was a brute, but there was a deer that was, he was probably in the 160s that was hanging out right there at that
Wow.
same spot when I killed. But uh yeah, Tank read the scripture. He was the oldest one of the bunch, bar none. I mean, you saw his body. He was a really old deer. And I was actually trying to kill him the year before that a little bit too, because he was in that same area that the deer I was obsessed with was. All of them were kind of right there in that area. But yeah, I used to have a problem with getting hung up on one specific deer, but I've cleared that out. Now they're all fair game.
I know the feeling. I was hooked on one named Big Boy. I called. I was on a journey for him for 3 years.
Yeah, it can consume.
And when that was cool though. I never did see him in person though while hunting though.
Right.
That's it usually is. But no, the reason I was talking about Tank, it was him or two pot.
Mm-hmm.
When I it cracked me up when I saw you in the stand. I got the shakes, baby. I got the
Oh
shakes.
yeah, yeah. I'm usually pretty good at keeping my composure until after the shot.
And
After
and the legs.
oh yeah, after the shots is when I fall apart and lose everything. I and I would rather it happen quick so I don't have time to get nervous. Those that you got time to watch coming in and it takes 30, 45 minutes before you can get a shot, those sometimes will get me rattled up a little bit. But most of the time I can keep my composure until the shot happens, and then
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like fall out of a tree because I get
Oh Lord.
I get torn up. But yeah, there was one time this year, and it was the deer I killed in Georgia this year. He was coming in and he kind of hung out a lot. And I've been hunting this deer for a couple of years and really wanted him bad. I kind of got a little nervous before the shot on this one. And after it was all over, I looked up at the cameraman and I said, could you feel the tree shaking when he was coming in? Because I caught a bad case of the shakes while he was coming in. Luckily, it was a
Called
big
buck
old,
fever.
yeah, luckily it was a big old tree and he didn't feel the shakes, but I was shaking like a leaf on a tree. I said, God dang, I bet you I'm moving the camera around up there. I'm shaking so. I did get a little nervous on him before the shot happened, but typically it's after the shot.
Oh yeah. Well, this one, the big boy right here, he I really didn't have time to get nervous. It was 3 minutes after I saw him, I shot him.
Yeah. That's what
He
I
come
like.
on in. I think this buck's mature. He was in the fight. Look at him broke off that.
Yeah. Ooh, it took a lot of pressure to break that main beam.
Yep, I'll have to send you the picture what he looked like before.
Uh-huh.
I think this deer was mature, and I believe, and I know I don't get tore up on score, but if it's something I want to mount,
Yeah.
bigger than anything I've killed, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I believe when the taxidermist gets the 2 points back on as best as he can, I believe this deer's going to hit at 120.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll do that. He sure will. He's
And
pretty.
because that one right there hit 113 and a half or 114.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he's
So
good.
so I was like, I wanted to kill a buck that was bigger than anything. Of course, to put on the wall is a shoulder mount. And I was like, man, like I said it, but I gotta show you this. You're gonna freak out. This was behind my house. You ready?
Yeah. Good gosh. He is a giant.
Look at the double white throat patch on him too.
That double white throat patch. He sure does. Yeah.
That
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 is,
was 11 a.m. during the rut.
golly, that's crazy.
I really wanted to get him so bad.
Uh-huh.
My buddy told me, he said, Tyler, his name's Jonathan. He said, Tyler, that deer could be a state record 8-pointer.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that deer is a brute right there.
I
Especially
think he
in
got
the
hit.
southeast.
I think I do what?
I said, especially down here in the southeast. That deer looks like a Midwest deer.
Oh yeah. And honestly, I think that deer was taken by another hunter. Um, and I just did. You'll have to watch this. You'll love this. I'm not big on the naming bucks, but if it's
Uh-huh.
something unique about them, and if it's some a buck that stays in there long enough, I may occasionally name them or
Right.
have my eyes set on him, because this one I had my eyes set on ever since June or May,
Uh-huh.
and he kind of vanished in October and came back in uh November, but then he had that thing busted off, lost
Yeah.
weight, um,
Drug him down.
was limping because my dad took a nice 8-pointer, and I think that 8-pointer whooped him.
Yeah. Very
Could have
well.
been. And this is also another good bow. This was an 11-pointer behind my house the same year, actually.
Golly, he's got good mass. He's real tall. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
deer.
On that video, that I made, he was there the year before, and what was the giveaway? Well, of course, the way his antlers were, but there was a giant, uh, 8-inch kicker off of the base of the right antler, same spot,
Oh,
the same year, the next year.
wow. That is
He
cool.
he blew up that next year.
I love character and all
Oh
that
yeah.
kind of stuff. We
And
actually was at Honey Break this year, and we had a couple of management eights come out on the field, and we had watched them for an hour, and it was getting dark, and we decided to take one of them and shot him. He was an 8-pointer, and when we came up on him, he had a big flyer off his base down there like that deer, and I was like, we watched him for an hour and never noticed he had that. And I looked at every little bit of his antlers, I thought, but anyhow, once we walked up on him, it was a big point too. It was about 4 inches, but we never
who
saw
killed
it.
him?
Do what?
Who killed him?
I shot him. Yeah.
Hey, boy.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I never saw that point when we watched him for probably over an hour, and I never noticed that characteristic. But I like deer that have a lot of character to them like that.
Is he on the Realtree Road Trips YouTube page?
Yeah, he's on the road trips page. Should be on it. That's right.
Okay. I have to go look at it. I tell you, they have been. I've seen y'all kill monsters down there at Honey Break.
Yeah, Honey Break's just a beautiful place. In fact, 20 years ago, that place didn't have a tree on it. It was all ag land. and they started planting trees. They did not plant one pine tree on the place. It's all oaks, and it's just a really beautiful place. They got some of the best duck and deer hunting, around. You don't associate Louisiana really as a big buck state, but they've got them there.
They are.
It's really, really crazy the amount of deer they have over there.
That'd be cool if I could end up there one day. If there's a way I can hunt with them guys.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'd love to go with y'all. How about that?
That's right. That's right.
We could and in all seriousness, I told T-Bone, I said it would be the dream come true to go down there and hunt with either him, Mike or Nick.
Yeah.
And he told me, buddy, he said, you're well on your way.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. You're there. You are.
And, you never know. I mean, like I said, I got a full-time job now. So that's good.
Absolutely.
Saving money would be the best thing as far as, you got airplane tickets, you got to do all this other stuff.
Right.
So I've actually talked with in fact, I interviewed Jeremy Atkins, the Big and J guy.
Yeah. I know Jeremy. He's a great guy.
Oh yeah. Oh, he is for sure. And we've been talking, and I said, man, it'd be nice if I could go over there hunt with your place. He said, yeah, come on. And it probably won't happen this year, but if I'm able to pay for a plane ticket and head that way, I'll be there.
That's right. That's about me. As long as I can afford to get there, I'm coming.
There you go. And I mean, like I said, and I think saving money is the biggest thing too. So you never know where that could happen. I'm not going to sit here and say, woe is me, I'll never be able to go. So you never know.
No, you don't ever know. You don't ever know. And like you say, it's just about saving money until you get it there and can do it comfortably. And then it's time to have a good time. That makes it work. That makes it much more rewarding, when you sit there and put the work in and worked hard to get to where you want to go. And when you finally do it, it makes it very rewarding, at the end of the time period, for sure. Those hunts mean more than, I could kill 130-inch deer in that scenario, and you'd think I'd killed 180-inch deer, but I've never been one for rack size much anyhow. I just like hunting and, being in the woods, trying to kill that mature deer. I've never been one to focus too much on the rack.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think maturity is a big level too, because you done outsmarted that old fart.
Yeah, regardless of what he's wearing on his head, if you outsmart any mature buck, it's a trophy.
Absolutely, for sure. My buddy, like I said, Jonathan Brown, he's actually a modified race car driver in our area.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you heard his name. They call him John Boy.
Okay.
And we've become very close friends. And through him, I've met Ryan Newman.
Yeah, I'm good buddies with Ryan. He's a really good guy. I've hunted with him a bunch in the past.
Yes. We're hoping we don't know if it'll work out as far as the schedule goes, but Jonathan's trying to talk him in, and maybe we can go turkey hunt with him.
Yeah, he's got. I've killed a lot of turkeys with Ryan in Tennessee. We used to hunt over there every year, and yeah, Ryan's big on turkey hunting. He's got a pretty cool little setup. He's got a rescue farm too, to where they take in rescues, and he's got a really, really cool operation.
Me and Jonathan have been trying to. We've been talking to his girlfriend Mackenzie and Ryan, and we're hoping at some point we can plan for me and Jonathan to go up there and tour his ranch. He's got deer, elk, and all those tame animals, and his tour his garage.
Yeah, his garage is sharp. He's got a lot of nice cars in there. My favorite, those, he's got a Sanford and Son truck in there that's almost identical to the one on the show. And man, that truck's my favorite one in his garage. He's got a lot more valuable ones, but I used to love watching Sanford and Son. When I saw that truck in his garage, I like fell apart.
Did you see his Dukes of Hazzard car?
I hadn't seen his Dukes of Hazzard car.
Let me tell you this. That's what he drove. I played Top Golf with him and Hermie Sather with Jonathan. That's what he drove to the place.
Man, that's crazy.
And sure enough, they finally got the car to crank after pulling the hood up and stuff. You could hear. He said, "He ain't never done this before." So they finally fixed it, and then he got to crank. All of a sudden, you heard.
Yeah. That's where it's at.
Baby.
That is where it's at. Yeah,
that's right.
The place we used to hunt outside of Knoxville over there in Tennessee. One of his friends had one of the biggest car collections I've ever seen, and we went over there and toured all his cars. He had everything from Model A's all the way up to your Hellcats. I mean, it was across the board. He had a little bit of everything. Biggest car collection I've ever seen. But he had all kind of stuff. He had a Superbird. He had, he had all that rare stuff. So yeah, Ryan's hooked up to the car scene for sure.
Oh yeah. He's actually running full time on the Smart Modified Tour with my 15-year-old cousin Carson Lofton.
I'll be dang, that's cool.
Yep. Carson, in fact, has won both opening races of the year.
Wow.
15 years old.
Yeah, he's gonna be on the NASCAR circuit for long.
Actually, he's part-time in the NASCAR Wheeling Modified Series.
That's good.
And they're watching him. They got their eyes on him.
Yeah.
And but my buddy Jonathan, though, killed a whopper. At only 1.5 acres is all he could hunt.
Golly, that sucker's wide.
Dude,
I bet
when he took it to the butcher, they said, "That looks like a Midwest deer. It looks like it ain't come from here." And he said, "Yep, just a few miles."
Wow. Incredible.
And he self-filmed it.
Yeah. I'm telling you, that's tough. It is tough.
He's going to send me that video. I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel as well. He's going to put it on his. It's awesome. I got to watch it. Literally, this is something that a hunting show would definitely want to put on TV. He got him coming through the woods, dark body, his rack looking straight out, comes into full view. And actually, I'll take this back. About a week before he killed him, he shot at him, and the arrow grazed his leg. And Jonathan thought he killed him, or he's hoping he made a good shot. Right. Turns out, he said, "Dude," he called me. He said, "Dude," he said, well, he was getting the shakes. And he said, he called me. I said, "What's up?" He said, "I just shot a huge deer." And then, long story short, didn't find the deer. He said he's still living, man. Goes to the next week. I mean, perfect. That deer is in there, relaxed, eating something. There's pines all around. They love the pines.
Yeah.
That buck was way over 200 pounds, or definitely 200 pounds. He's filming. That buck is not moving. He is comfortable. He's eating. He's got a crossbow. So he said, all I'm waiting to do now is lift his head up. As soon as he lifted that head up, boom, I mean, perfect. And as soon as that deer mule kicked and ran, he moved that camera and he got everything on video.
That's great.
Dude, I just show you the clip from his phone on the laptop. It was perfect, man. I cannot. I'm going to have a podcast with him too.
Yeah.
And he wants to wait till he gets that buck mounted as the background.
Yeah.
He called him Mac.
Mac.
That's a good name.
That's it.
I gotta show you this. This is if I can turn that stupid camera around. There we go. There's my first buck. That's him right there.
Shoot. And you're mine.
We painted that buck right there. That was when I killed behind my house, my first squirrel. Yeah. I I killed this one. This is an artificial skull mount because the taxidermist accidentally dropped it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But this buck, he I shot him actually last year before I killed the big one, but my heart got to pounding. He come in last night, so I decided to take him, and we didn't find him till the next day.
Yeah.
But he was I guess my third biggest buck.
Yeah, he's pretty deer.
Yeah, boy.
Those dark horns.
Yeah, man. And 2023 was the best year for me, my dad, my cousins, and my friends. And I got a collage of all of our.
That's great. That is great. That's what it's all about, is all those memories.
We didn't, and you know what's even better? None of us killed small bucks. We each killed big bucks.
Yeah, those are some good deer.
Absolutely. Look, my cousin Weston right there, that's his first ever buck.
Man. Yeah, he started off a good end.
For the first time ever, me, my dad, my two cousins, our family basically, we each killed a buck the same year. That's never happened.
That's great.
And like I said, it's just hunting memories, man.
Yeah.
What do you think of my little hunting bench here?
Yeah. Looks a lot like mine.
That's my goal, to make it look like Realtrees. Come on.
That's it.
I can't wait to put this boy out.
Yes, sir. I got several running right now trying to find these turkeys and get them sorted out.
There you go. I got a bone collector buck call, Night and Hail, pack rack, bone collector crow call, and I got a this is actually my friend makes these turkey calls, and they are awesome.
Oh, cool.
Sunrise custom calls.
Sunrise. I'll have to look them up.
Oh yeah, he's over here, and actually just a few minutes down the road from me. And he's on Facebook.
Okay.
And I tell you what, let's see here. How's that sound?
Yes, sir.
He makes some good calls.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a call junkie. I got all kinds of stuff.
Oh, there you go. I hate that Night and Hail decided not to do their business anymore. T-Bone told me that.
Yeah. They had decided not to do it. Of course, I think Michael was working with them quite a bit with the bone collector call side of things and all. They were all kind of in there together doing a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. I tell you what, I gotta show you the rest of my man cave. Look at that right there.
Old Piebald.
My dad killed that one, actually. That was a little I guess a little cow horn or a spike. Part of the antler was chipped off, but my dad gave me that rug for Christmas.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep. Killed that behind my grandpa's old house. We've been hunting there for 20 years, and that's where that big boy was killed.
Ah, that's cool.
So,
yep. History on that tract of land.
What's that?
I said you got a lot of history on that tract of land.
Oh, absolutely. And actually, these two bucks on the wall, this one right here, and the big 9 right here, both of these were killed just behind my house right here.
That's great.
And but unfortunately, they are tearing the thickets down, and they're going to be building. So
that's never good.
I pretty much made the announcement. You know what? It's not huntable anymore. So we're closing the chapter on that. So
yeah.
But hey, I'm going to do a video on every deer and a lot of precious memories that were made back there, whether it's on film, pictures of every deer. My dad killed one turkey back there. So that's going to be on YouTube for everybody to see.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
And as I mentioned about NASCAR, you won't believe this. Look at all these cars I got.
Wow. Yeah, you got a few of them, that's for sure.
Yeah, boy. Yep. Tony Stewart was my favorite.
Old Smoke.
I knew that was coming. Yep. I got this place reserved right here for that big boy.
Waiting on him. Hopefully,
That's
hopefully
right.
you'll be able to do it this coming up season.
That's how big he is right there.
That's a pretty deer.
Yeah, boy. Yep. And but this was special. This one I killed with a bow.
Uh-huh.
I shot at him 5 days before I killed him, and I hit a limb perfectly, and he took off running.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And T-Bone, I told T-Bone, and he said, "You might have lost that battle, but you won the war."
Exactly.
That's right.
Yep. Yep. He's pretty deer.
Yes, he is.
Anything with archery equipment's a trophy.
He's got a lot of character too. Look at all that
Uh-huh.
trash on him. And I'll tell you what. Oh, I got to show this to you. This is my first shed I ever got. This deer, oh my gosh, this would have been a stud.
Yeah, he's got a lot of mass.
Oh, I know it. He was huge. But I believe this is that same deer's shed right here.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. Oops.
Yeah, it does. It almost looks identical.
Yeah, it is. I'm surprised that this buck was still healthy because this shed off this buck. I don't know how well you can see me. Thanksgiving is the first time I saw this deer, and at the end of the season, he lost weight and coming there limping. He was hurt pretty bad, but he blew up the next year.
Yeah, absolutely. It does look like the same deer for sure.
Oh yeah, he was. I'd say that deer was mature.
Yeah,
I'd say four and a half. I don't know about 3 or 4, but you know, it's funny. He was roaming with does that year in the summer pattern, believe it or not.
oh, that's weird.
Because
You bachelored up with those other bucks and all, but you never.
yeah, I don't know what that was about, Michael, but no, they didn't mind him, and I wanted to make sure it was a buck, not an antler doe.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
but it was a buck. It was a big boy, and well, there was not many bucks back there. He was the biggest one out of all of them.
Uh-huh. Cool.
There was only a couple that were back there, and he only came out with the does, and he was that was crazy, but he was smart. I hunted him for I had my eyes on him since that June that year, and then I hunted him for about I tried to get after him for 5 days.
Uh-huh.
The first day he came first day there was no corn on the ground, so he's behind me the whole time. So I was like, I'm putting corn out and I'm going again tomorrow. And the corn's 15 yards from me, and you are a good hunter if you can pull, or no, you're a good hunter, but you're lucky if you can pull that bow back without getting busted.
Right.
And so he come the next day. I had a doe on my right looking at me.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't move, and that buck standing right there, a little according to me. And when she moved and looked away, I immediately got my bow up. But at the same time, I didn't realize he was looking at me at the time.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he was gone. And you know what? He started coming back, but I kept him in there. I tell you, he would not leave. I think he got used to me being in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Very well.
But he lost anyway.
Yep. Uh-huh.
There you go. And this is the one I'm excited to go after this year. Something like, let's see. There we go.
Oh, yes. Oh, God Blair Road. Shoot,
Yep.
I'm ready after him here.
Let's see here.
Old shot shell.
That's it. 44-yard shot. It was a 9 13/16 ounce.
Heck yeah. I love a 410.
Oh, yeah, they're good. I actually bought me a 12 gauge Mossberg shotgun for my cousin.
Uh-huh.
So ain't none of them getting away this time.
That's right. Take no prisoners.
That's right. Yeah, man. Sorry, I didn't mean to I took you a whole daggone tour of my man cave.
Shoot, man, I like seeing stuff like this.
Oh, I do too. But I think I got a couple more questions. I think we're gonna be good, man. But this is one of the more ones I was interested in asking. You
Yeah.
mentioned earlier that you're a first responder. You're a fireman. Tell us
Yeah.
how'd you get into that?
Who basically as a young kid, I had a couple of friends. Actually, a guy that used to coach me in all the rec league sports when I was younger. He was a fireman, and I'd been over there to visit several times or whatnot, and just kind of started taking a liking to it when I was about 16 years old or so. And it was kind of one of those deals that was good because I never had to worry about what I wanted to do when I got out of high school. I pretty much knew. And so when I graduated, I actually got my basic firefighter while I was still in high school. There was a volunteer station locally here that was doing a weekend class for their volunteers. So I went ahead and got my basic volunteer firefighter when I was 18 years old. And then when I got out of high school, I went through college. And when I was in college, I was doing volunteering part time. And then when I got out of college, I went full time and have been full time ever since. So it's
There
been a
you
good
go.
time. But yeah, it was something that just kind of sparked my interest when I was about 16 through a couple of people I knew doing it. It just sounded like a real interesting job. And so I pretty much set my mind to it. And, you know, once I pretty much set my mind to something, I'm going to go full bore at it. So I've been doing it
That's
ever
right.
since.
That's right, for
Yeah.
sure. I tell you, I had no clue about this until I saw the video. But I think it was real. No, it was posted by shoot. I think it was posted either by Realtree Road Trips or Hunt Club with
Uh-huh.
Philip
Yeah.
on YouTube. About your heart attack.
Yeah. Yeah. That.
Boy, I tell you, I could tell. I don't want to get in much of that because I don't want to have to see you break down on video
Oh,
here.
no, it's fine.
Because boy, I know that was recent though at the time.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
it was. That was the first time I'd actually been out of the house since the surgery and all. So,
yeah, I know. So, oh, you're right. And like I said, those little stuff, just going in the woods,
yeah.
hanging up stands, those moments will mean a whole lot more to you after something like that.
Oh, yeah. It definitely it changes your whole aspect of life. When you go through something like that. And, it I was 41 at the time that happened. And at 41, you're not thinking of heart issues, which looking back now, there were a lot of signs there that were pointing to me having a problem. And I
Oh
was
man,
just kind of ignoring them because I'm like, at 41 years old, I'm too young to have heart issues. And finally, one of the guys at the fire department, he told me, he said, y'all are, he had actually talked with the chief, and both of them came to me and they said, you're going to get checked out right now. And
oh man,
luckily they did that, and we called it in time and was able to get it handled. But yeah, I had 100% blockage in my widowmaker, which is the LAD. And there was 100% blockage there. And luckily, your heart's kind of a resilient body part because it cut a path around the blockage, and I was getting about 20% blood flow. So that's the only thing that kept me alive. But the doctors were like, medically speaking, you should be dead. But you just said you were one of the lucky ones that made it through it. And the bad thing was I'd fought a couple of bad fires that week before, and it's a wonder I just didn't collapse at one of those fires. Putting your body up under that much stress with a blockage like that, it's just a wonder I didn't fall over. But good Lord had his hand on me. That was for sure.
That's right. You ain't kidding, and the power of prayer too.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. No doubt. It works wonders in
Absolutely. Didn't you have open heart surgery?
it wasn't they classified as open heart, but they didn't split my sternum. They actually cut you in 4 different spots, and it's actually a lot of it's called a robotic assisted coronary bypass. And you
Right.
got 2 arteries that run down through here, and they cut this one over here on the left side, and then they tie that artery in below the blockage. So they had to cut me in 4 different places, and the robotic arm goes in and the camera goes in, and it's all kind of crazy stuff. I was on the operating table for 5 hours.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was definitely, the doctor told me, he said, this surgery is going to be twice as painful than open heart surgery. He said, but you'll recover twice as fast. And he wasn't lying about the pain. Woo! That first week after surgery was most pain I've ever felt in my life. But it was like a line was drawn in the sand at 7 days. And after that period, I just started getting better in extreme bounds every day. So it was, but those first 7 days afterwards, they were tough. It was tough.
Oh, I bet, man. That's scary. Yeah, my buddy Greg, like I said, he had a heart attack on the baseball field while coaching.
Golly.
And they stopped the game
Uh-huh.
because of that, and they were also worried. But he came through that, then
Yeah.
had another heart attack while in the hospital just days before he died.
Golly.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that was hard. He was like a second daddy.
Yeah.
But
That's a tough ordeal right there.
oh, absolutely. And then my pawpaw passed away back in 2022. So that's kind of the losses that I've had to deal with the past few years.
Right. It's never easy losing somebody. It's
Oh
never,
yeah, but to know where they're at,
yeah, that's right.
makes
That
it a whole lot better.
definitely rests your mind a little bit, knowing they're in a better place for sure.
Absolutely. Going back to the Realtree thing,
Uh-huh.
when I explained to my dad who you were, I said, I'm gonna be talking to Michael Pitts from Realtree. I said, I showed him. He remembered this video. I showed it to him. It was what hunters do on a summer vacation.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was hilarious.
Yep. That, golly, that's been probably
About a
7
decade ago,
years
almost.
we did that one. Yep. That's been a minute or two. Yep,
That
that's
is
what we were doing, all the pit stops and all.
the pit stops. That's right.
Yep. They got a whole little category on the Realtree 365 with a lot of those we did. We need to do some more of those. A lot of people love them and want to see some more of them. So we've been talking about firing some of those back up.
There you go. Realtree is definitely going to bring out the old and new in the new technology we got.
Oh yeah. Yep. Got to utilize it all.
It's going to be
all
awesome.
valuable.
That's right, buddy. Well, my friend, it's been an hour and a half.
Time flies when you're in a good conversation.
That's right, man. Like T-Bone said, just 2 rednecks can talk the horns off a billy goat, and this is what we're here to do: talk about each other, get to know one another, and share memories.
That's it. That's what life's all about.
Oh, absolutely. And one of these days, I might end up getting to hunt with y'all. You never know.
Absolutely. That's for sure. We might have to do that one day. Share the woods together, share some memories and stories and all that kind of good stuff.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely try that for sure. What was I gonna say? Oh, I would love to just come down there and see Bill's Realtree building with all his deer mounts and stuff in there.
Yeah, that's an amazing place.
I would love to come down there and see that one day.
Yeah, we might have to set something up. Let you come down, tour the place, and look around.
There you go. Maybe go hunting that evening.
That's right.
Oh man, yeah, for sure. I'm just not the thing of me right now. I'm not a comfortable driver on the interstate.
Yeah,
I'm not.
me neither.
Oh gosh.
Interstate.
Yeah, that's one thing we'll probably have to I think the plane might I'd still feel safer in an airplane.
Yeah, yeah. They, you know, it's hard to believe because a lot of people have got a fear of flight, but actually, it is the safest way to travel. But a lot of people would rather jump in a car and go, and not knowing it's 10 times more dangerous than getting on a plane. But it's mind tricks, I guess.
Oh yeah, and the thing I'd be looking forward to in the plane is I don't see how people can keep their eyes, how they cannot leave the window by seeing what's
Uh-huh.
above them.
That's right. Yeah, I always like the window seat for sure. Get to look out and see a little bit of what's going on.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, man. Like I said, and T-Bone told me this, and people told me this. They said, keep doing. They told me, they said, Tyler, keep doing what you're doing. I started my channel back in 2021 because I was posting my hunting videos on my so-called now NASCAR channel because I like to edit NASCAR videos and that stuff.
Yeah,
So I was like, well, I'm just gonna start a hunting YouTube channel. And I was like, I never know where this is gonna go. I was like, I
right.
wasn't starting with high hopes, but I mean, like I said, you always want to, but
Yeah,
I had no idea I'd come this far. I've
that's
got
right.
to interview Joe Drake,
Uh-huh.
Jeremy Atkins, T-Bone, you now,
Yeah.
and then a friend of mine on YouTube actually who he's not on he's not like you guys on a TV or anything. Well, he's popular on YouTube. Bubba Roundtree Outdoors.
Up around tree. That name kind of sounds familiar.
His name is Wade. Um, they hunt in South Carolina, just between us,
Okay.
and they do dog drives,
Oh yeah.
and then they do still hunting too. They
Uh-huh.
do that. They do fishing. They're just living life down there.
Yeah. And that's what you got to do is just, you know, video your passion and what you're doing every day and keep your head to the ground and you never know what's going to happen. Never
That's
know.
right. People
And
told me for me
enjoy
to keep. Go
is
ahead. I'm sorry.
as long as you're enjoying it, it doesn't matter what happens.
Right. That's right. And for sure. And like T-Bone said, if I keep this up, Lord willing, I'll be there with y'all. So
Absolutely. That's all you can do is, you know, keep your head down and keep chugging along.
that's right. Keep
Yep.
on trucking.
Have a good attitude, have fun. You can't go wrong.
That's right. And I'm not gonna back down. That's for sure. I'm not gonna stop filming my hunts and stuff.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I really do.
Yep. And that's all that matters. As long as you enjoy it, you'll never work a day in your life.
That's right. I gotta send you some clips though. Oh my gosh. I hunted my boss's house last year and I had a buck snort wheeze at me 8 times.
Whew. That's always neat to see when they get snort wheezing.
I thought I was in Kansas, bro.
Yep. Yep. Uh-huh.
He My buck was bigger than him as far as rat goes, but the body, it looked like a mammoth.
Yeah. Older deer. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'll have to send it to you. You'll be amazed.
Yeah.
And I got all that on video. I got so many highlights I would have never imagined getting. So that's something for Realtree to look at, and I'll try it again this year.
That that's all you can do.
That's right, buddy.
That's all
Well,
any of
man,
us can do is keep on trying.
that's right, man. Lord,
Mhm.
Lord will work it out. And boy, I tell you, we had a great talk, didn't we?
We did, man. It was a fun evening.
Absolutely, man. It's good to meet you, to become friends with you, and
Yeah,
we'll definitely keep chit chatting, and we'll keep each other dating. Maybe we can plan on me getting down there one day with you guys.
Absolutely, buddy.
All right. Well, folks, there was Michael Pitts with Realtree. This was episode 5 of our podcast, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. The best is yet to come. If you want to do something like what we're doing, you just got to keep doing what you're doing. Never back down from it, like we've been talking about. But other than that, we'll see you guys on the next podcast interview. We'll see you on the next video. There's Michael Pitts getting off with the send off. We'll see you guys next time.